Hi, you guys. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, you guys. No, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I'm always off. Y'all, we'll see what the Wi Fi is doing today. We will see what the Wi Fi is doing. We'll just hold a good thought that it'll be strong tonight. Y'all, let me know if you can hear me, see me clearly. Let me know if you can hear me and see me clearly. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you got going on. How is life? I'm trying to make sure the lighting is good too. Welcome, you guys. Let me put the chat in here. Welcome. Happy Sunday. People will start getting the alert that I'm in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. People will start coming in here. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, you guys. If you can hear me and see me clearly, let me know. Let me know if you can hear me, see me clearly. Tell me where you're from. Hey, I can hear you, see you. Jacqueline from Maryland is back. Welcome. I see Lost Soul coming on in here. Well, did y'all follow me on Instagram? I felt like y'all follow me on Instagram. My IG is Your Agent Ashley. Let me put that in there so y'all can go follow me. Welcome. Happy Sunday. Happy beginning of the week. It is Melanie from the Hamptons of Mississippi, Oxford, the Hamptons of Mississippi. Welcome, you guys. Happy September 7th. We got a full moon tonight, don't we, you guys? Full moon. Jackie from Round Rock, Texas. Welcome, you guys. Come on in here. Happy Sunday. It was the first Sunday of the month. It sure was. First Sunday of the month. Come on in here, Camilla from Alaska. I'm going to need you to make sure you could take care of those foreclosures in Alaska. Y'all know y'all made the list, Camilla. Welcome. Tell me where you're from. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Maybe tell me if you're an agent. Are you an agent? Are you an investor? What you doing? Newbie, beginner, rookie? Is this your first time seeing me? You've been here before? Tucson, Detroit, Michigan? Welcome, y'all. It is Sunday, September 7th, the first Sunday of the first Sunday of September is today, right? We have about 4 minutes. I try to come on here. Everybody's getting the alert that I'm live. So let everybody kind of get in here, get situated, come in and sit down. We're going to get the week started. What do y'all have going on? Any wins this week? I'm supposed to have a closing this week. I'm going to have it. I'm going to have a closing this week. Trying to get the lighting right. What else? I've got auctions this week. I've got some postponements this week. Mentorship starts this week. It's the first week of the mentor. You got a closing this month? Yes, I'm happy for y'all. Hi from San Diego. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So good things happening. Gabby's got a volleyball game tomorrow. Mentorship starts on Wednesday. If y'all want to join that, the 6 weeks mentorship, the new round starts on Wednesday. The link is in the chat. Check it out if you want to learn how to reach out to pre-foreclosures, the homeowners. You know what I mean? How to learn to do that. Talk to them, talk to the banks, lock up some deals that way from distressed properties. Y'all know that is my jam. I'm going to the post office tomorrow to mail some letters. I did my letters today. Checking in from West Georgia. Welcome, welcome, Scotty. Y'all, I love to hear where you're from. We have about 2 minutes letting people come on in here. So, we reach out to distressed homeowners. If they want to sell, I help them sell. Sometimes you get good properties to keep for yourself. Or I have clients who are looking for properties. You know what I mean? So that's what we do. That's what I teach in the mentorship for 6 weeks. And we start again on Wednesday, the 10th. We meet every Wednesday at 7:30. The link is in the chat. Tuning in from Twin Falls, Idaho. Welcome, Penny Krager. Did I say that right? Welcome. Come on in here. We got about 2 minutes and we'll get started. I like to know where y'all are from. Is this the first time y'all have seen me? Is this the first time? Y'all first time tuning in, or have y'all been rocking with me for a minute? I will go ahead and start this introduction. Y'all keep me alert on if we're going to pray that the Wi-Fi stays strong tonight. Okay. That's the goal. So let me do an introduction in case you're new here and in case you're watching the replay, just so you know who I am if this is your first time. My name is Ashley Pickens. Y'all know, I don't know if I'm supposed to look here or if I'm supposed to look at the camera. So just know I'm looking. Krieger. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I'm trying to get good with these names. Good. From Twin Falls, Idaho. I got you, Penny. We got our Penny here at Penny Hardaway here in Memphis. Okay, you guys. So I'm Ashley Pickens. I've been in real estate since 2006 as a real estate agent, also as a real estate broker over an entire firm. You guys, but most of you know me as your auction mama. I became an auctioneer about 8 years ago here in Memphis, which is Shelby County. I auctioned from here to Nashville, parts of Mississippi. I'm the one that says going once, going twice, sold at the courthouse. I auction off foreclosures for the bank. So I try to come on here and teach y'all a little bit of something because I know y'all don't know about auctions. You know what I mean? So I've started making videos and I'll do master classes and I just try to teach y'all what I know and hopefully you'll learn and take it and run with it and buy some investment properties or go to the auction or buy an REO property or start trying to help homeowners who are in distress. I work the distressed market. That is my jam. I primarily work with investors, but my niche is the distressed market. So pre-foreclosure, short sales, airship properties, that is my niche. Basically, I pivoted from, your normal retail market. So that is what I do. And I try to teach y'all as much as I can. We'll have some master classes this month. I did 3 in August. I did 4 in July. I try to do some every month. So you just kind of get in where you fit in and learn what you can learn while you can learn. You know what I mean? So tonight it is 7:00 on the dot. It is Sunday. Let's talk about, what are we talking about tonight, you guys? REOs, pre-foreclosures, auctions, the real estate market. What do y'all want to talk about tonight? Y'all got some questions? I have to tell so many about you and helping me find my 20 acres for cheap. It's storming in Orlando. Oh, Kimberly, it's over there storming in Florida. Y'all know I get a little nervous to try to share the screen because but let's see. Any questions before we get started? I'd love to see where you're from. I know we got Twin Falls. We got Orlando. We got Maryland in the house, number 3. Is Maryland number 3 on the foreclosure list? I think Maryland is number 3. We know Florida's always at the top. Texas is at the top. South Carolina, Nevada, because y'all told me I was saying Nevada wrong. It's Nevada. Not Nevada. Not but So now I know. Thank you. What were August fallout numbers from real estate closings? I don't know. I think it was like 58,000. Have we got August's fallout numbers yet? I'm not sure. Maybe you can get a good foreclosure, Penny. I know we had it's been hovering right around 60,000 canceled contracts every single month for the past few months. I try to do a video on that. Usually 58,000, 59,000 buyers are canceling contracts. But we'll see now that interest rates have dropped a little bit. Maybe people will go through, with their contracts. Look, I know people who got their rate locked a couple weeks ago are like, can you unlock my rate and lock it at this lower rate? You know what I mean? Since rates went down, they probably you need to unlock and relock. You know what I mean? Because rates have gone down. If you're about to buy a house, you want that lower rate for sure if you can get it. You know what I mean? I would be I need you to rework them numbers and give me a lower rate, period. But they're going to be but ma'am, it's going to take us a long time to do it. I can wait. Unlock and relock my rate at what it is now. We could talk to the sellers and let them know. But I sure would. If I was a buyer, I'd be give me that low rate. I don't care what you locked me in at. I want it locked in at this. You know what I mean? Since they lowered rates, basically. So we'll see. Let's talk about, I'm going to try to share my screen. Unless y'all got some questions. I see Lost Soul love talking about REOs, don't you, Lost Soul? You love talking about some REOs. What are the current rates? I saw somebody say they were 6.5 or something. I saw somebody say a 6.5 or I think they're mid 6s now. I think they're sitting at mid 6s. So everybody's trying to refinance. Again, I don't think that's going to bring a ton of buyers to the market just because the interest rate went down a little bit when houses are still just unaffordable right now in this market. So They probably will get a little lower. We'll never see 2 or 3% again. So don't ever think they're gonna get that low again. But they might go down some more towards the end of the year, maybe next year. You know what I mean? Beginning of next year, or they'll probably they're anticipating a rate cut. What, this month? We're expecting a rate cut, and they said with the job report coming in real low, lower than expected, then they're probably going to cut again. So we'll see. And every time they cut, that doesn't always affect the mortgage rate. Like, understand that too. You know what I mean? Um, can you go over your script that you use when calling pre-foreclosures? So, and Jackie, y'all got to be careful now. I heard y'all can't cold call in Texas no more. I heard they changed the rule in Texas. Y'all can't cold call, text, what else are things that y'all can't do? Like, I don't know. Or I don't know if it's only wholesalers. I don't know, but I heard they changed that law in Texas this past week that you can't reach out. Um, so you're just gonna have to get more aggressive, I guess, with mailing and maybe door hangers or just educating people. Um, Most of the time though, when I call homeowners, I come from the hello Leo. Hello Leo. You saw the little rhyme right there. I come from the standpoint of, I'm calling it help. Like, do you know your options? Right. They're going to, Lisa, you're just going to have to wait it out, but prices are going to go down. We're headed for a correction for sure. We're headed for a correction for sure. Just give us some time though, because homes are just unaffordable right now. And I think the rush that everybody's expecting, well, I think most people who live in today's, like, live down here, still know it doesn't matter what the interest rate is. Homes are just unaffordable right now, right? Um, so it doesn't matter. If rates do drop to 3%, still won't be, rates ain't going down to 3. Rates are not going down to 3%. We probably will not see a 2 or a 3. That was just because of COVID and they were trying to stimulate the economy. We ain't gonna never see a 2 or a 3. I think we'll see a 5, but we ain't gonna see a 3. You know what I mean? Now, when I call homeowners who are in foreclosure, lead with love. Lead with love. That is my main thing. But I just come from a standpoint of, I say, like, I help homeowners who are behind on their mortgage. Did you know? And here we have assistance, like a couple of little nonprofits give assistance to homeowners. So I'll say, were you aware that, so and so gives assistance and we might can get your auction postponed? And a lot of times they're like, no, I didn't know that. Or, yes, I already been through them 3 times. But that's the route I come from. Like, did you know, not me, hey, you want to sell your house? I know a lot of people come from that, like, bullying. Your house is going up for auction, blah, 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 blah. You better do something. I know some people come from that intimidating, bullying. That's their tactic. That's never my tactic. I just, like, offer assistance, right? I help homeowners who are behind on their mortgage. I try not to use the word foreclosure. I feel like there's some words that trigger people or put in a bad, like, that give bad vibes, bad vibes. I feel like foreclosure is one of those words, especially if you're calling a homeowner, right? I don't want to say, hey, I help homeowners who are in foreclosure. You know what I mean? I feel like they're like, ugh. I think that, like, turns people off. There's some words that give us the time to move. Absolutely, Lisa Grace Brown. I feel like there's some words that turn people off. Like, I don't say foreclosure. I don't say, like, if I have somebody who wants to buy a house, I don't use the word, like, investor. I have some investors who want to buy your house. I never say the word investor. Investor turns people off. Foreclosure puts a bad taste in people's mouth. So there's some words I try to avoid. You know what I mean? Leading with love, leading with love. Even like with my brochures and things that I leave with homeowners, I try not to put the word foreclosure on it in case it's, like, laying around at their house and they have company. You don't want people to know that you might be having financial difficulties. You know what I mean? So my, like, little brochure, my checklist says, like, homeowner reset guide. Just because, you know what I mean? It's a sensitive subject, right? So if they're in that, wouldn't it be good that you say you help people avoid foreclosure or auction? If they're in that, you're speaking to them and they would respond. And I think it just depends. Like, when I'm on the phone with them, these people have like so many people calling them, right? They're already on edge because even though my approach is lead with love, most people I've heard, like I've been at clients' houses and I've heard the calls that come in when like investors are trying to call them. And I heard him say, he was like, well, you have an auction on Friday. You're going to lose your house on Friday. And I was like, hang up the phone. So I'm like, hang up. But I know people use that tactic, that intimidation tactic. And I think it just depends on the situation. Now, and it also depends on the timeline, Leo. Like if I have 30 days, how I usually time it, because I work these every day. When we're 30 days out and I have time, I'm definitely like more nurturing, more lead with love. Now, if we got an auction staring in your face on Friday and it's today, right? Tuesday, I will say you have an auction in 3 days. You know what I mean? Because I need you to have a little sense of urgency the closer we get. But in the beginning, you know what I mean? Or if I'm on the phone with them, I don't, honestly, if that makes sense. So when I absolutely, yeah. So when I call, my approach is a little nurturing. You know what I mean? It's definitely, hey, I'm here to offer my assistance. I know you're getting blown up by people. I had one lady, I called her and I think she texted me and she said, I can't remember. She was like, who is this? And I could tell right off the bat, people had been blowing her up, how she responded to me. And she was like, who is this? Or something like that. And I responded back and my text message was like, this is Ashley and I help homeowners who are behind. And I was like, and then again, when it comes to lead with love with me, I always try to leave people with some information that can help them, even if they don't call me. Like even in my letter, I don't have my letter with me. Even in my letter, at the bottom of it, it says, and if your house goes up for auction, don't forget to request your excess funds, right? Even if you don't call me, hopefully you'll remember, oh, that letter did say something about excess funds. You know what I mean? So when I text the lady back, I was like, this is Ashley. I help homeowners behind on their mortgage. And I was like, please, I know I text this to her and I was like, I know it's so many people calling you. Do not let anybody in your house. I said, and do not sign anything that you don't know. And that lady called me back and she was like, I called you back because you were the only person who has ever said anything trying to help me like that, like even offering any bit of, compassion, right? And so that's what I try to do, right? And she called me back. The lady called me back at like a few minutes right after that. And she was like, thank you. And she's like, you come over tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So I try to really like do what I tell you that I do, like lead with love. And because I know some people will get my letter and never call me, right? I know people will get my letter and their house will go up for auction. And hopefully they'll look at it and be like, that letter did mention something about excess funds, or something, you know what I mean? So that's what I try to do. Y'all do your own method, but that's the method I use. Um, exactly. That's fair. I would depend, like you said, them being brought up, but the information here with us connect trust that's given us an advantage. Thank you. And a lot of times, well, because it takes them a while for really to sip. Yeah, exactly. A lot of them are like in denial when they go into foreclosure. And I can't blame a lot of them. Like, y'all know, no judgment over here. Like we haven't foreclosed on people in like 5 years, right? It's people who have not paid their mortgage in like 3 years, right? With no consequences, right? So a lot of them are like, well, I guess it ain't going, I haven't lost my house in 3 years. What makes me think this time is going to be different, right? And this time is different, right? Now they're actually foreclosing on people, right? So I think a lot of people have just gotten complacent, right? Like, I haven't paid in 2 years and there's not been any consequences, you know, I'm going to sit here another 2 years. You know what I mean? Until now it's really like, oh, shoot, y'all really about to take my house. You know what I mean? Um, so a lot of, bankruptcy attorneys are going to be busy. Let me say that. If you're an agent or if you work with pre-foreclosures, find you a bankruptcy attorney and partner with them. I'm telling you, because maybe bankruptcy attorneys are going to be busy. That's what a lot of people, when I call, they're like, I'm just going to file bankruptcy. I was like, okay, call me. There's a payment that comes with bankruptcy. I still follow up with people who say they're going to file bankruptcy, because I've had clients file bankruptcy. They couldn't afford the payment that came with bankruptcy and ended back up in foreclosure. And then they called me to help them. So, those kind of people you just kind of stay in touch with and check in on. And, when you see their address pop back up on your list, then you just know what it is. You know what I mean? I put the link to the mentorship. It's pinned in the chat in case y'all want to start with us on Wednesday. So, what was I going to say? So, yeah, lead with love, ladies and gentlemen. So, but we'll see. I think it's going to get pretty crucial here, in the next coming months and next year. And we just watch these foreclosure numbers rise. That'll help our housing affordability. Maybe if the banks put them back on the market, you know what I mean? Come on in here, Ray. Oh, Ray from Maryland. Hello, attorney. Are experiencing. Hold on, my voice. Zandria, what are you trying to say in that message? Attorney are experiencing coast a lot. Look, retype is Zandria so I can read it. Raymond. Ray's in the mentorship. He's down there in Maryland, taking over Maryland down there, doing his thing. So she probably meant cost a lot of our experience. Attorneys are you saying attorneys cost a lot? Is that that was the thing? Thank you, Leo, for trying to translate for me. Zandria, we got you. You just tell me what you're trying to say. So I think, I know. So I think like here, bankruptcy attorneys, I think you pay like $500 for that first payment. And then you have to, they set you, look, let me not get to telling the story on how bankruptcy works because I don't know. I know it's a 7 and a 13 and fooling with me, I'm going to have you filing like a 21 and a 23. I don't know how it works. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I know here, I think you pay like $500 and they'll get you started and that'll stop your auction. And then you got to do the rest of the paperwork or whatever it is. I'm not sure though, you guys. Brandon, it's an 11 restructure. Look, I don't know. Look, HM. I don't know the numbers. I don't know the chapters of the book. I don't know the different chapters. I try to stay in my lane. But if somebody wants to file bankruptcy, I just kind of refer them to a bankruptcy attorney is what I do. Because I don't know and I don't want to act like I know and I don't want to know because that's not my lane to give advice on what chapter of the book you need to file for. You're going to be filing chapter 911, fooling with me. So we just going, where do you get the list? The list of what list? Lost Soul, which list you get from? So, y'all, should I share the screen or should we just talk a little bit more and make sure the Wi-Fi is good and healthy and strong on this Sunday? We got to just stay here for a little while. Just stay where we are and we won't do too much. Where do you get the list of the trustees? So you look at, you can find the trustees. You can public notices where, if you put in your county public notices and it usually shows all the people who have an auction or thanks y'all. Everybody hit the thumbs up. I always forget to tell y'all to do that, but I just come on here and talk and I feel like y'all enjoy it because you stay. You can Google like your county public notices and it'll show people who had foreclosure notices. Yeah, the notice of default, those will pop up. If you know the trustees where you live or have that, sometimes they post them. What percentage of the foreclosure do you think are regular homeowners versus investors and flippers? I don't know. It's probably about 50-50 right now, Liberty Springs. It's so many investors on the foreclosure list. So many investors. So many. And y'all know with these job losses, right? With all these jobs, people losing their jobs, it's probably a bunch of people who got like second homes or trying to Airbnb or something. And they probably going to have to sell that second home if you lose a job, right? And you need to come up on some cash real quick. You know what I mean? You think about those things when that Airbnb craze went crazy and people started buying up properties and creating LLCs and, now these jobs leaving. And if you got 2 mortgages you're trying to pay, you know what I mean? And if you bought that second house with a HELOC and your interest rate done doubled since then. I know one guy, he said he had a HELOC and he was paying $400 like a couple years ago because if y'all didn't know, HELOC, home equity line of credit, when you do that, it's usually an adjustable rate, right? So mortgage interest rates have gone up in the last 3 years. So he said his HELOC payment was $400, and now it went up to $800. So a lot of times, you guys take note, a lot of times I've seen homeowners who are in foreclosure and they're foreclosing on that HELOC, right? Because you have your primary mortgage and the HELOC, two separate payments, your main mortgage, and then you took out equity. And so now you have this other payment, right? So a lot of people, they'll pay their primary mortgage, right? Because you got to keep a roof over your head. But when the money is short, they'll stop paying this HELOC, right? And especially if it adjusted and now your payment went from 400 to 800, you like, I ain't got this. This will go into foreclosure. Your HELOC will go into foreclosure, and they will auction this off. And y'all know, if you've watched me any amount of time, you don't bid on HELOCs at the auction, right? You do not bid on second liens. A HELOC is a second lien on your property. In this, the HELOC will go up for auction, and your feelings going to be hurt for the rest of the year if you buy somebody's HELOC at the auction. I hope I did not confuse y'all, but that's just what I've been seeing too. People are current on their primary mortgage, but in default on that HELOC because that payment has doubled. Does that make sense to y'all? If it does, say yes. If it doesn't, say, Ashley, I'm lost. I just got here. Cool. Okay, good. Y'all understand. I know my real estate people understand those two different things. You know what I mean? And you don't want to buy a HELOC at the auction, right? That's why you have to do a title search to make sure you know which lien you are buying when you go to the auction. Lisa Grace Brown, I'm kind of getting a little off. And I'll just give you a little, well, y'all don't really want to know about auctions, but you just have to do your due diligence when you go to the auction. Make sure you're buying the right lien. We only buy first liens. You don't buy second liens, and drive by that property, right? That's really good snare, Ashley. And people who have a couple of mortgages will be interested off one of the properties and stay in the main home, right? If you need some money or you had a good income coming in to buy two houses or to buy an Airbnb, and now your job is gone, right? Or now, right, you're going to sell off one of those properties, right? Or you're going to lose one. You might have to sell it before you lose it. So they're expecting to see some investment properties start coming to market because people are losing jobs. Can you get a title search via AI? I don't know. Somebody needs to create that. Come on in here, my dog Rex. We haven't seen you in so long. I missed you. Ray put up I do this to Ray every time he come on here. What's the site that you can get a title search online? Somebody needs to create an app to do title searches. Somebody needs to create an app that will do title search, use AI, do whatever you got to do. Also, don't get a home with an adjustable rate. Right? Better late than sorry. It's kind of late for that. Every auction should by law list every lien on any property. You're right, my dog Rex. Is there a class on how to read a title? Ooh, I don't know of one. You know what I mean? I don't know of a class. I just have to kind of learn and teach myself and try to learn. You know what I mean? You can ask ChatGPT how to teach you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I guess. I don't know. I've just kind of figured it out just by looking along all these time. And then I have a good relationship with my escrow company and title company. So if it's something that I want to buy or if it's a deal I'm working, I'll be like, run this title for me real quick. Go and run this title and see what's on it before I waste my time. So those are things just to be mindful of. Boom. So yeah, don't buy HELOCs. And lots of investors are on the foreclosure list. Lots of them. Everything is ending in LLC that I see. Everything I see is ending in LLC. Because investors are losing these properties. And a lot of investors, y'all was getting hard money and private money and cannot refinance up out of that private money and hard money. And now these lenders are foreclosing on you. And hard money lenders and private money lenders are not as nice as your typical like Bank of America mortgage companies. Hard money will foreclose on you. Private money will foreclose on you. Hard money will foreclose on you. Like, trust me, we have a hard money lender here who foreclosing on all his people because I guess they couldn't sell the properties or didn't refinance up out of them quick enough. He foreclosed on all his investors. So, well, I would like to understand, why do they auction a second lien? What exactly are you buying? So keep in mind, it's a lien, right? Somebody put a lien on. What is a lien? I think when you go back to thinking about what is a lien, it's basically you owe somebody some money, right? You owe somebody some money and they come in and collect it, and they gonna put a lien on your house, right? So when they, I guess, get tired, they're gonna foreclose on their lien, right? They're coming to collect on their lien, right? So it's that lien holder, whoever you got your HELOC through, is coming to collect on their money. I've seen, being at the auction, I've seen Chase credit card be the lien holder, right? Because somebody had a credit card and didn't pay it, and they put a lien on their house. Now, do you buy Chase credit card lien at the auction? Absolutely not, right? No, the lien holder just trying to get paid, right? That's their whole purpose of putting a lien on that house and foreclosing on it, foreclosing on their lien. They're hoping to get paid is the whole plan, right? So, you just have to know which one will give you ownership to that property. A HELOC won't, junior liens won't give you ownership to that property. If there's a primary or first, well, I don't want to confuse y'all, a primary mortgage sitting out there, like I said, if they bought a house and then they got a HELOC, their primary mortgage, the one, their biggest loan, the one that they hold the sign and say, I love my realtor, closed, that big mortgage, right? That's the first, that's sitting in first position, right? Liens have priority. That main mortgage is in first position. When you get a HELOC, when you pull home equity line of credit, pull equity out of that, and you get another lien to go fix up your kitchen, you take out $40,000. Now that's a second lien, right? And like I said, if you can keep paying this primary one, and then but when money get tight, you be like, I can't pay this second one, right? Whoever you got it through, Rocket Mortgage, Wells Fargo, they gonna collect. They'll put a lien, they're gonna foreclose on this because you haven't paid them. You don't buy this though. And if you buy this one is still sitting out there in front of it. So you won't get ownership of that house as long as there is a primary mortgage sitting out there. I hope I didn't confuse that, y'all. When I start talking title and liens, I don't want to confuse y'all, right? But you don't buy junior liens. That's HELOC. Those are, what's another lien? Like here, judgments. When people put a judgment on your house, or what else? A little secondary mechanics liens, those kind of stuff. You don't buy those at auction. They won't give you ownership to that property. You only buy that primary mortgage, taxes, tax liens. You pay the taxes, you get ownership. HOA. If HOA foreclosed on you, you can buy that and get ownership in that primary mortgage. If it goes into foreclosure, you can buy that and get ownership. IRS lien, those usually fall off in 120 days. 120 days, that IRS lien falls off. You ain't gonna buy that either. You're not gonna buy nobody else IRS lien. So those usually fall off in 120 days if that is on a property. There literally are two commercial operating HELOC. It's the greatest thing since salsa. And people are refinancing though, because, well, you're saying HELOC. I was thinking refinance. Y'all, banks are in business to make money. That's the bottom line at the end of the day. Banks are in business to make money. Okay. You know what I mean? So when they come out with special things and we're offering this low rate on a HELOC, we're offering this for people in disadvantaged neighborhoods. We're doing this. Y'all, they in business to make money. Okay. They're not doing it out the kindness of their heart. Right. They need money. And the mortgage lane is slow right now. Ain't nobody taking out mortgages right now. People are refinancing. I'm sure people aren't really opening up checking accounts and savings accounts. So they got to come up with something, right? So when I see like JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America coming out with these special loans for, brown people, we got a loan. If you got a low credit score, but you got to live in this neighborhood, come get a loan from us. Y'all, they in business to make money. That is the only reason. They're not feeling sorry or sympathy or care so much. Banks are in business to make money. Okay. So, and when you say like, Well, how would the bank, what happens if foreclosures don't sell at the auction? The banks will bundle them up and sell them to a hedge fund, right? And don't care anything about the people who live in them, right? Banks are in business to make money, right? And right now, banks aren't making money. It's people in default right now, right? That's how banks go under, when people stop paying their mortgages. Well, when a whole bunch of people stop paying their mortgages. And we already know commercial real estate in the trash. You know what I mean? So they got to do what they got to do, right? I'm missing questions. These are no, Iris. I don't understand. If you buy a home with the HELOC default, do you not own the home? I don't understand. If you buy a home at the auction, by the book, what are we talking about? With a HELOC, do you not own the home? Now, yes, if you're the homeowner, by the book, don't get confused about what we're talking about. If I'm a homeowner and I take a HELOC out on my own home, I pull the equity out of my own home and buy a house, yes, I own that house, right? Because it's the equity is cash and buy the house. By the book, we're talking about if you go to the auction and buy the HELOC at the auction. No. I don't want you to be confused by what we're talking about. Yeah, if you buy a house with your equity, you can do that. A lot of people do that, right? I'm talking about when you stop paying your HELOC and it goes up for auction and they auction off that HELOC. No, you don't own it then. They're just gonna say thank you for paying that HELOC. Can you get ownership through HOA and they still have primary owners? Yes. Yep. HOA, taxes. Like when you do a tax sale, you can get a house through tax sale and it'll clear that first mortgage out of the way. Yeah. HOA, taxes, and that primary mortgage will give you ownership on a house. If someone buys a HELOC at an auction, what are they given? A receipt that they paid it. And that's it. You're not getting a deed. You're not going to get a deed in the mail. You know what I mean? A thank you. They're not going to give you the deed to that house, though. You know, because it's still a main mortgage sitting out there. You're going to get some hurt feelings. A hurt feeling. That's about it for the rest of the year. Every mortgage makes money for the bank. The promissory note bought the house. Banks do not lend money. Here come my dog Rex. He gonna teach all of us. My dog Rex, are you still down there in Florida? He always pops in with his wisdom, words of wisdom. Sandria, no, sorry. I know y'all be talking in the chat and I'm just trying to keep up. So that was your little lesson on when you're buying at the auction to be aware of what you're buying at the auction. Okay. You never want to have a property with a government lien on it. True. Now, IRS, people buy properties with an IRS lien sitting on it. Like I said, they usually fall off in 120 days. If the IRS don't come collect, it'll usually fall off that house in 120 days. And then they'll go after that person again. Because it's the IRS lien really attached to the person. They'll put it on that house. But after 120 days, if it changes owners, then they usually fall off. The deed should always be mailed to the buyer before being recorded. The deed should always be mailed to the buyer before being recorded. Right. So when you go to the auction, they do mail you the deed and you do have to go record it yourself. They will mail the deed to you and then you have to go to the county records and deeds office and record that deed. So then your name shows up on title that you're the owner. Everybody, if you did not know that at the auction, they'll mail the deed to you, but you have to file it. Right now, if you buy a house, typically, like normally traditional sale, then that closing attorney files the deed for you. Your escrow company files the deed. If you buy at the auction, you have to file the deed yourself. A lot of people didn't know that, but now you know. So that's something else that y'all just learned today when it comes to the auction. And taxes are not included when you buy properties at the auction. So whatever that winning bid is, it does not include taxes. So you'll have to, I always say, wait until you get the deed to pay the taxes. Okay. Wait until you get the deed to do anything. Okay. Pay the taxes, go do repairs, Wait until you get the deed. Okay. That's what I always say. Y'all think I should try to share my screen or I should just keep talking? What should we do? Yes. Yes. The deed is ownership. Absolutely. And you want to file that so your name will be on title as soon as you get that deed. Yes. 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 Um, should I share my screen or should I just keep on talking? Y'all got some questions? Y'all know I can talk. So, I mean, I can keep the party going without sharing the screen, but I think it helps y'all see a little clearly if I share my screen. So what else was I going to tell y'all? Y'all want to try to look at some auction properties? Look at me. Y'all want to look at some auction properties? Like we some kids about to run away. Y'all want to go look at some auction properties? Go ask your mama if you can come outside and play real quick. Yes, keep talking. I don't have what else y'all want me to. I'm gonna try to share my screen on this other site and see if that will work. Let's try to look at. Oh, let me show y'all some trustees. That's what I'll share with you because y'all are always like, "What about trustees?" Y'all's mama said y'all can come play. Okay. Ruben Lublin. I'm gonna drop this in the chat. I'm giving y'all a little bit of mentorship over here. Ruben Lublin, he's a trustee. What are trustees, you guys? Let's talk about it because a lot of you, I see y'all look in the chat and you see people talking about trustees, but you don't know exactly who they are. So when a property goes into foreclosure, Bank of America will come after you for a bit, right? Bank of America call you a few times, but then after you stop answering and start ignoring them, they're going to be like, you know what? This is not even what we do. And they're going to give your file to the trustees or their foreclosure attorney, right? And then the attorney starts coming after you, right? That's what they're hired to do. They'll send you that certified letter that says you need to pay this amount or your house is going up for auction, right? They're the ones who set the auction. I'm contracted through trustees, right? So I'm always in our mentorship. If you're looking to get kind of a head start when it comes to pre-foreclosures, I say look for the trustees. A lot of them, like Ruben, I auction for him, they will post their auctions ahead of time, way ahead of time. And that will kind of give you a jump start to try to reach out to people. Pop quiz. If somebody has an auction date set for October 1st, right? October 1st, can you reach out to them today? If they have an auction date set for October 1st, can you reach out to them? Yes, no, maybe so. If they have an auction date, yes. What if can you reach out to them? Their auction date is October 1st. Can you reach out to them September 30th? September 30th. Their auction date is October 1st. Can you call on September 30th? Yes, they do, Leo. Yes, all the way up until that auction, you guys, you can reach out to those homeowners. But the earlier you can get to them, the quicker you can get to them before all the vultures start coming out the woodworks, the better, right? From when they go into foreclosure all the way up until that auction date, they can sell their house. They are still the homeowner, right? Hi, Ashley. Question: do we have to pay in order to have access to the websites where we can find? No, HUD Home Store is wide open. Home Path is wide open. Home Steps is wide open. No, you don't have to pay anything to get on those sites. Just find you a house, find the agent, schedule you an appointment. No, those are all wide open. All wide open. Now some sites will charge a buyer premium and you know what I mean? They charge them fees after when you put your offer in and that kind of stuff. But to just get on the site, no, you don't have to pay anything for REO sites. No, they should be open. The ones that I know are wide open. You're welcome. So let's talk about, here's Ruben. He is a trustee. For all of you, when I tell people, like I always tell homeowners, if your house goes up for auction, request your excess funds. People call them overages, surplus funds. What are these, class? That means when your house goes up for auction, you guys, that open bid is, oh, my screen went out, y'all. Let's hope the Wi-Fi. The opening bid, can y'all still hear me while I'm still talking? Make sure, because this screen it stopped sharing. Yes? Can y'all send the link to your letter platform? And I think you also have a brochure or something like. Okay, thanks, Melanie. So y'all can still hear me. Here's where all my stuff is. Thank y'all for blinking. Thank you, Brandon. Okay, that's where everything is. Letters, everything, all the bundles. I have pre-foreclosure letters, airship letters, vacant, abandoned home letters. They are all there, you guys. So I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? Y'all, what was I talking about? Oh, excess funds. Excess funds. That's what I was talking about. What are excess funds? And I say that at the end of all of my videos. The opening bid is the loan balance. The opening bid is the loan balance at the auction. So if the opening bid is $100,000, right? That's what they owe the bank. That's what the bank wants. But it's a good house and it gets bid up to $200,000, right? That difference, that $100,000 difference, the homeowners do that. That's excess funds. That's overages. That's surplus. Now, if there's any liens on the house or anything like that, they'll take that from those funds. But the homeowner is entitled to those funds. So I always say, again, if your house goes up for auction, go get your coins. Go get your coins. I always tell this. This lady emailed me and was like, listening to you, she had a $60,000 check waiting on her. $60,000 check waiting on her. And she didn't even know. You know what I mean? She didn't know. Because the bank ain't going to call you and tell you got a $60,000 check. They just finna get Christmas bonuses is what they going to get. Can you help me? I wonder, what if the homeowner does not know that? Where does the money go? It's just going to sit there, I guess. It's just, I'm sure it's plenty of people who had money. I don't know if there's like a statute of limitations, you know what I mean? It probably depends on the state, but they ain't gonna get them. The bank is not gonna call you and say, come get your check. I think they just passed a law. Not I think, I saw an article where a homeowner sued, right? Because I guess they found out they had the money and didn't get it. So they sued. And I think it went all the way to the Supreme Court, where now it's like that homeowner, banks have to give them people that money. It's their equity. You know what I mean? It's money for them, right? But they weren't giving people their money. You imagine how many people who've been all those people in 2008, right? I mean, I guess unless they were upside down. But I don't know. A lady emailed me and she was like, I had a $60,000 check waiting. She was like, thank you so much. I'm like, absolutely. Where would or how would the homeowner find out about the surplus? They got to contact that attorney, that foreclosure attorney or the trustee. People are like, how would you know? I would probably look and see if my house went in foreclosure, right? I would look and see maybe on the title or look and see when the last time it sold. And you know how much you paid for it. So that's you. And then I will look and see the next time that it sold. And that might be where it sold at auction, right? That next time. And then you can see like if it got bid up or whatever, you know what I mean? But what happens if you win the auction but it's short on funds? Tina, then you ain't gonna win the auction, Tina. Tina, you're not the winner if you short on funds. There's no such thing, Tina, as being short on funds at the auction. You just not the highest bidder. I'm just kidding with you, Tina. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as being short on funds at the auction. You know, they just gonna go to the next bidder. And a lot of times they're supposed to check and make sure you have the funds. You know what I mean? Before you get there. So you just don't get the house. They can look on their auction notice as to who the trustee. Yeah, if they still have it, you know, Jackie, if it's been years, you have to look and see. Thanks, By the Book. Shout out to you. Look at By the Book, giving tips. Thank you. You can, you know, if it's been some years, you might not know who to call, right? But if you've been in a foreclosure, I would definitely double check and see. She should have been kind enough to give you at least 5 for telling her about the city. That she didn't even know. It's okay. I think she just saw a video of me, right? Like I didn't tell her. She just saw one of my videos or watched a YouTube on Sunday, when I mentioned it, and she's probably like, ooh, let me go see about that house. You know what I mean? So it's Washington D.C. has a lot of foreclosures. I don't know. I feel like y'all's properties in D.C. kind of rising, aren't they? Like a lot of people putting their house on the market. Y'all are right in there around Maryland, right? Maryland is number 3 right now for highest foreclosures in July. I feel like that whole Northeast is kind of, I don't know. I know with the jobs laying off and stuff, you know what I mean? Bank is not going to tell you or call you. They ain't going to call you and tell you nothing. Baby, they going to have Christmas bonuses and they going to have catered lunches for the week on your money, on your excess funds. I don't know if I should try to share the screen again. I don't believe fat meat is greasy, do I? Let me just try one more time. And then look, if it go off, it's my fault. I dropped all the links in the chat for y'all. There is and this is what we talk about in the Brandon, don't start. Mentorship. It starts on Wednesday. This is what we do, y'all. We find pre-foreclosures, reach out to the homeowners, talk to the banks, and hope they say, you know what, I'm just tired of this house. I'm going to sell it. And we say, okay, or sometimes they just say, I want to keep it. And then I'll try to connect them with some housing assistance, even though that's been drying up lately, y'all. The housing assistance has been drying up. Ain't nobody got any extra funds to help anybody right now. So, and a lot of these banks are just saying, no, homeowners haven't paid in 3 years. Like, we're not giving you any more time. Mr. Cooper, that's what Avriel said in Mentorship. Mr. Cooper told her with her client on the phone, we want your money and the house. That's what Mr. Cooper said on the phone. Y'all know Mr. Cooper, the mortgage company. They told him, they were like, they've been trying to get his money. They've been trying to call him for 3 years and he had not paid. They were like, he going to auction today. Well, Friday. They were like, there is nothing you can do. We won't even give you time to sell the house. We taking the house, period. So I think a lot of these banks are like over it, right? And especially if they can sell them to hedge funds and make some money. You know what I mean? If they let the homeowner keep it, they know they're not going to get any money. But if they sell it to a hedge fund, the hedge fund will pay for it, at a discount, 40% on the dollar. 40% on the dollar is what hedge funds are buying these notes for. Just makes your blood boil, doesn't it, class? I wish I could buy a house for 40 cents on the dollar. Then I could have my beach house in Florida for $29.17. But, it's neither here nor there. Homes in Virginia are sitting a lot longer on the market. I had a seller reach out to me. Home was listed 2 different times. Days on market, 321. Baby, you better negotiate. Negotiate. Baby, I said it last night. We're not buying anybody's headache. We're not trading headaches with people. We don't guilt buy. That's what I say in the mentorship. Don't guilt buy. I know that homeowner might be crying and they've been in a tough situation and they're about to lose their house. You don't guilt buy, though, right? If those numbers don't make sense, you don't buy it, right? But you still try to help them and offer assistance and lead them in the right direction and give them their options. But we don't guilty buy. And that goes for buyers buying on the regular market. If those numbers don't make sense, right? And some of these homeowners can't lower the price, right? Some of these homeowners, if they lower the price, they're going to have to short sale, right? They might have it as low as they can go without going under their payoff, right? However, that's still not your problem, right? That is still no shade to sellers. No shade to sellers because I know it's hard out here for sellers right now, right? I'm talking to the buyers. That's who I'm talking to. Don't trade headaches, right? Because they paid for it and trying to get rid of it. Don't you buy it just because they need to get rid of it and they can't lower their price. You just say, I wish you the best. We're going to keep looking, right? Or let me know if you're going to initiate a short sale and then I'll be back. That's what you do, okay? We're not guilty buying. This is not wife swap. This is not mortgage swap, right? Don't buy somebody else's headache, right? Because they're trying to get off of it. So, and negotiate. I feel like realtors, y'all don't be wanting to negotiate. Like that's my favorite part being a real estate agent is negotiating, right? Because I feel like I can justify my offer, right? Because I'm going to do the research. I know what the comps look like. I can do all that. So if I send you a lowball offer, I'm prepared to back it up. Let me just say that. How do you compute the numbers to make sure it's a good deal or not? Some people do that 70% rule, Melanie, 70% of ARV minus repairs. So what, 200,000, 70%, what is that? 140 minus repairs at 30. You coming in at 110. If you're trying to make 10, then that's 100. So on a $200,000 house, you got to offer 100. If you want to make 10K off of it. I know y'all are like, Ashley, you're so crazy. But 70%, some people do 70%, but the way the market is looking right now, you might need to be at 65%. 60 or 65% is where you might need to be for carrying costs and closing and repairs and profit. But a lot of people do 70% of the after repair value. Whatever that house is fixed up and looks like when it's in perfect condition with your white cabinets and your dark hardwood floors and all that, you take 70% of that. I don't know. That's just what most investors do. You know what I mean? Melanie, I don't know if it's where you can find it, but most of my investors are doing 70% minus repairs or 65%, depending on this market kind of slow and houses sitting. So you're going to have to have some carrying costs, sitting with you. So the better the market is, the smaller your margins can be. When the market is frozen or slow, you got to, you know what I mean? You got to spread them numbers out. If you can buy it and get off of it real quick, you might can do some smaller margins. But if it's sitting and you don't know if you can sell it, you got to go like 65% at this point. Yeah. So what happens when the seller has to go below what the lender has approved? So like short sale, Jackie? Like, so what you mean, Jackie? Like short sale? You know what I mean? They dropping the price in Memphis 20. No one is buying and they are feeling it. I know I told you I offered 100,000 less on an offer on a property and my clients got it. We had to spin the block a couple times. They kept coming down, but not coming down to where I needed to be. And I was like, okay, thanks. Waited 2 weeks, put in another offer. They came on back down again. Not where I needed to be. Waited 2 more weeks. They came on down where I needed them to be. 100,000, 850 to 700. They were on the market at 850. We got it locked in at 700,000. Yeah. So, at least 150K off. Some sellers just gonna have to get their mind right. And then we're going in the holidays. So people are really not about to buy in the holidays. People don't want to move in the holidays. You're not trying to move during the holidays. You out of town, people coming in and out of your house. You got Christmas tree, family. That really slows down the market in the holidays. So if you're a seller and you're not willing to lower your price, you're just not willing to lower, just pull your house off the market. Pull it off. Wait. Let your days on market clear for a bit. If you know you stale on the market, you know you are. I'm your auction mama and I say everything with love. If you've been sitting on the market too long, right, and you don't want to reduce, right, pull it off the market for a minute. Pull it off. Let it cool off. Let it cool off. Clear your days on market and then maybe come on back out here again. But the thing is, because the longer you sit, right, for me, a real estate agent, for my clients, the longer you sit, the lower my price gonna be, right? Like if you've been sitting 3 and 4 months, you're not getting full price. You're not. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get full price. I'm gonna come with the reduced offer, depending on how long you've been sitting, because I know nobody else is looking. So let's really negotiate. So I'm saying if you're not willing to negotiate, and again, I'm not being insensitive because there are sellers who can't lower their price like you can't, or you would have to short sale, especially a lot of these people who bought in 22, 23. You can't lower your price, right? And that's what do I always say. The good thing about real estate is your value depends on the houses around you. The bad thing about real estate is your value depends on the houses around you. So if you just bought 2, 3 years ago at the peak of the market, and now all your neighbors are selling, sitting, lowering, reducing, selling, and you like, I can't lower anymore, right? I'm upside down. So I just say if you're a seller, we going in the holidays, like I don't know, pull your house off the market if you're not willing to reduce it. Because after you hit a certain number of days on the market, you are not going to get that price that you want. You know what I mean? So pull it off, refresh, come back new year, rates should be down. Do what you need to do, cut the grass, plant you some flowers, rearrange some furniture a little bit. You know what I mean? Put some jazz music on, change the curtains if you want to, make it look like it's a new house, get some new pictures, and then start again if you're able to. Now, the thing I know is because I work on the distressed side of real estate, I work with people in foreclosure. Y'all can't pull your house off the market, right? You need to sell before you lose it. And that's going to be the problem with people in foreclosure who need to sell, right? And can't pull it off the market or any of that. Down payment assistance. No, yeah, down payment assistance. Oh, yeah, Jackie, those will come eat you up. When people bought houses and got down payment assistance, and if you try to sell within a certain amount of time, they're going to want their down payment assistance money back. That's what DPA is. And a lot of people don't realize you have to pay that money back if you don't stay in that house a certain amount of time. I think here you got to stay in it 5 years, 5 or 6 years. If you sell before 5 or 6 years, you got to pay your down payment assistance back. They got a lien on your house. A lot of people don't know that. So, look, I'm trying to read the chat and talk to y'all. You have sellers that want market value, but they need 30, so they really are delusional. Is it safe to say with the market that we're in that the RE part may sell at 70? That's the plan, Cedric. That's the plan. You know, we're going to always lowball the bank. The bank is not included in our reality. When you work with the bank, I need you to be delusional. Okay? We play, what do we play, class? Limbo. Limbo is what we play. Okay? You lowball, see what they say, they will counter you back. See what they say. And especially as we get closer to the end of the year and these banks need to move these properties off their books. You guys play limbo. And if you feel nervous because you're like, I don't want to offend the bank, who cares? They were keeping people's excess funds. Remember that. If your house went up for auction today and you had $60,000, they would keep it. They wouldn't even tell you. So that's what I want you to remember when you're making offers. Okay. Channel me. Is it safe to say the market? Hello, just getting it. We'll catch the recap. It seems like the market here in Baltimore is slowing, but still moving. I have no idea. The prices are too high for me. You know, I think everywhere there's like little pockets that'll still, it's always people who need to move, right? There's always going to be people who need to buy a house, no matter what the situation is. It could be for a job. It could be for anything. It's always going to be somebody who needs to buy a house. And depending on where you live, it might be more in demand where you live. But you just do, Cynthia, what you need to do. You know what I mean? You hold on and wait, because home values are doing this, right? They are going down. You do not want to catch a falling knife. Okay? You buy when the values are going up. You jump in and you hope that your house appreciates. Right now, houses are doing this. You jump in and you're going to be upside down on Tuesday. You know what I mean? No, Erie, you're not late. I only been talking for an hour and 3 minutes. It's okay. So just be very mindful, right? Don't let anybody guilt trip you into buying, not your real estate agent, not nothing, right? And I'm a real estate agent. So you do what's best for your budget is what I would say. That's why we got 58, almost 60,000 people backing out of deals, right? You do what works for you. And if you're a seller and you've been sitting and you're not getting any feedback or it's not moving, just regroup. You know what I mean? Regroup. But again, if you're in foreclosure, you like, I'm trying to sell. If you in foreclosure, you need to reduce your price. I see that a lot of times too. Like I had a homeowner was in foreclosure and was listed on the market, right? House listed on the market. I see them on my foreclosure list. I get the opening bid to their house, right? I look, is that the number? Yeah, 60,000 penny. Yeah, drop fail, canceling contracts. So house is on the market. I get the opening bid. I know the agent. So I call the agent and I'm like, hey girl, I just got the opening bid on your listing. And she calls me. She's like, what? I'm like, yes. I said the opening bid, I think the opening bid was like 350. He on the market for 440. I said the opening bid, I just got it's 350. She was like, we should have took the offer we got for 400. I'm like, you should have called them back. Because sometimes sellers just be delusional, right? You're in foreclosure. You've got an auction coming. You've got a good solid offer that will give you some money and you pass it up. And now you got an auction staring in your face. You know what I mean? Like, be reasonable here. Be reasonable, especially if you're in foreclosure. You know what I mean? You just got to take what you can take. Oatmeal is better than no meal. Oatmeal is better than no meal, right? Don't try to wait for a better offer and you got an auction staring in your face. You know what I mean, you guys? Erie, you always watch. Thanks for you're welcome, you guys. I try to teach y'all. And then once you do magic with no time left on the clock, they think I can turn water into wine. Like I'm walking on water. I'm like, look, you in foreclosure, you can't play. You in danger. You in danger is what you are in. You can't play like everybody else can play who current on their mortgage. They can play a little bit. You can't play. You got to take this and move on. Right? And I mean, it was you was going to make about $50,000. You know what I mean? But so she, danger. So should I try? We made it an hour, you guys. We made it an hour. If the screen cut off, we made it an hour. Because now I want to share my screen just a little bit. I can't remember what I was going to share. Oh, trustees. Let me just do it. Let me just try because I don't believe fat meat is greasy. Okay. Blink if you can see my screen. Blink if you can see my screen. If it stopped working, we going to bed. If it stops working, we're going to bed. I'm on Instagram. Your agent, Ashley. Let's see how far I can get. So this is what I'm going to say. Ruben Lublin, he's a trustee. He handles foreclosures. This is the site where excess funds, like the homeowner. Let's see. Please note our firm policy is to begin the disbursement process for excess proceeds once 30 days have elapsed from the date of the foreclosure sale, right? So if there's any liens or anything outstanding, they will pull it from your excess funds, but you contact them to get your excess funds within 30 days after the auction. Now, what you came here for, class, is for the property listings, right? Ruben Lublin, let me make sure my chat is still going. Y'all blink it a blink. Kia, is that you down there? It sure is, Kia. I know your little face. Look, I know your little face. Okay. So, Ruben Lublin handles Georgia, Florida, Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. Let's look at Georgia. So, Georgia, class, auctions win the first Tuesday of the month. Georgia and Texas. So, they have already passed. Their auction was this past Tuesday. So, now he has October auctions up, you guys. Today is the 7th. The next auction is October 7th. Pop quiz. Can you reach out to these people who have auctions a month away, 30 days away? Yes or no? Yes or no? Thank you. Y'all still blinking. Yes, there's Melanie. There we go. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody's in agreement, right? Because these are still the homeowners. They are still the decision makers, right? So if you can offer to help them, maybe they might want to sell. Yes, you can. So that's why I say find the trustees. It is so many in October. I'm not going to lie to you. Y'all will see how long I scroll. This is Atlanta, Fulton County. These are all at Fulton County Courthouse or the county courthouse of where they're in. Fulton, Richmond, Cobb, Decatur, Lamar, Barrow, Fannin, Houston. I'm still in October. These are all properties going up for auction in October. You have 30 days. Let's keep going. Let's see, class, if we can ever get out of October. Let's see. I hope y'all aren't getting dizzy over there. I hope. Oh, the screen stopped, you guys. Okay, let me not share the screen. Fat meat is greasy, I believe. I won't share my screen no more. Y'all, the screen, I just noticed the screen was not. It stopped on me. Am I still here? Can y'all still see me? I think it's a delay in the chat. Are y'all still with me? Okay, y'all still with me? I think y'all responding to. Thank you, Jermon. That's the universe telling me to stop and chill. You're right. Y'all just want me to talk. I've been on here an hour and 10 minutes, so it's about time for y'all to go to bed. Honestly, truthfully, it's time for y'all to go to bed. I know, but y'all couldn't see me scrolling. You know what I mean? I was on Ruben's site and y'all couldn't see that, but I'm not going to go back and do it because you're right. The full moon is saying, Ashley, get off you can't share your screen tonight. So, what, Lisa Grace Brown? She said, oh no, you good, Ashley. We can see you. Y'all can still see me though, right? Y'all, what else y'all want me to talk about? I feel like I've talked so much. I've talked for an hour and 10 minutes. If you want to see me again this week, you should join the mentorship. I had 10 people join last week. I see Kia in here, Ray's in here, Brandon's in here, Erie's in here. We meet this Wednesday at 7:30. I have little payment options for y'all if y'all want to join. We meet 6 weeks, but they usually stay in forever. For some reason, my mentees won't leave me. For some reason, they won't leave. Not on the left coast. I know y'all just waking up, Cedric in there too. I know y'all just waking up on the West Coast, eating your little tofu scramble. They do like me, don't they? Y'all over there eating your little tofu scramble on the beach, doing sunrise Pilates. But that's everything. If y'all want to mail letters, I've got some little letters. Y'all know I reach out to pre-foreclosures, heirship properties, abandoned, vacant home. That bundle comes with like brochures because y'all know I'll put a door hanger on your door. I will put a door hanger on your door. I sure will. Brandon. Brandon in the mentorship too. While he's acting like that. Avocado toast. It's something, you know, they eat avocado toast and like with some little like arugula sprouts. I'm just kidding. I like LA. I'm just playing with y'all. I'm just jealous that I can't wake up to the beach every morning. I live in Memphis. I've said everything that needs to be said by that one sentence. I live in Memphis. I don't wake up and see the ocean every day and do sunrise Pilates. It's not what we do here. That's neither here nor there, though, class. You're having banana pudding with mini waivers. Do you have to be a realtor to join the mentorship? No. Half of them are not real estate agents. Everybody in there is an investor, a wholesaler. We got real estate agents. Y'all know I get my REO certification week after next. So they do REOs, they do BPOs. We got investors, everything. I feel like the majority of people are not licensed in the mentorship. They are not. I feel like they are not. Yes. We got the Mississippi River. That's what it is. That's what we got. That's what we got back over here. That's what we wake up and look at. The Mississippi River, not the ocean, not sunrise Pilates. We ain't eating tofu scrambles and drinking cold pressed juices. We got the river and barbecue. Auction on 22nd September. Are you buying at the auction? Bunny, Usman? Auction is your auction for your house on the 22nd, or are you trying to buy at the auction on the 22nd? Tell me what you need help with. Or you can email me if it's personal. You don't have to tell the whole world. You don't have to tell these 83 people what you got going on. YourAgentAshley@gmail. Isn't that how a lot of investors started? How, Kimberly? Eating banana pudding with mini wafers? Is that how investors started? I moved from Memphis to Chicago. Lisa Grace Brown, I was born in Chicago, and now I live in Memphis. Our lives are flipped. Our lives are just flipped. But you could never tell that I was from Chicago because I'm so country now. It just all, I guess, all the Chicago just washed off of me. Guess what, Bunny? I asked like 3 questions and you responded back, yes. You going to the auction on the 20th? Okay, buying at the auction. I get it, Bunny. You're probably trying to text on your phone. Do you have a particular question? Brandon will say you home now. I'm clearly I'm home now in Memphis, right? You got a particular question or you just want to email me, Bunny? When you go to the auction, do your due diligence, stay in your budget. You have to have all your money with you. You have to have certified funds when you come see me. Watch someone like you or knowing someone that's totally about auctions. One home can get you two and you keep, that's what you got to start somewhere. Kimberly, you got to start somewhere. That's what I hope y'all do. Because what did I say? I'm leaving here with something. What Denzel say? We leaving here with something this run up. This foreclosure wave is supposed to last 5 years. 5 years, you guys. So I hope everybody on here is doing something to move the needle into being an investor or buying a property or doing anything, REO listings, property preservation, haul outs, trash outs, investment. You know what I mean? I hope I encourage you to do that, right? And I'll share my journey with y'all of how I plan to take over the world. Thank you. I'm so glad y'all can understand me half the time. I surprise myself when I listen back to my replays. I'm like, golly, I'm country. But it happens. So that's what I hope you all do. Save your coins, get your credit right. And even if you're not licensed, it's so many other things how you can participate in the wave. Look, the wave. You know what I mean? Absolutely. I feel like I'm going to do the REO market and I'm going to do property preservation. I'm going to do both. I'm going to do all of them. I'm going to do everything that I can do. I always say this, right? When I die, one day when I die, I'm probably going to live a long time because my grandmother is 101. But when I die eventually, hopefully, and I don't mean to get any kind of religious on here, God is going to be like, that girl in Memphis, Ashley, she used every single idea, every gift, every talent, every skill that I gave her. Ashley used it. You know what I mean? I try to just, if I have an idea or if it's something I want to share with y'all, if it's a masterclass, if it's a course, mentorship, if it's anything, right? I try to do it. You know what I mean? So that's my hope. God will be like, you used every single gift that I gave you. You know what I mean? I'll be like, thank you. I tried. I tried to share and teach as much as I could possibly teach. You know what I mean? Y'all, because I could have just been an auctioneer and went to the courthouse and went home. But I became an auctioneer and then I started making videos for y'all. And then I started doing master classes for y'all. And I made a whole course to teach y'all how to go buy at the auction. And then that turned into this. So when I learn stuff, I try to teach y'all everything that I learn. And hopefully you take it, right? Because I know they be charging y'all an arm and a leg for just like a website. So hopefully when I come on here, I try not to gatekeep and share everything that I can share that I learn or that I see and share it with y'all. You know what I mean? I try. You know what I mean? That's what I'm out here trying to get it every day, secure the bag every day. You know what I mean? So I'll have some master classes in September. I just have to set a date for them. I'm looking at, when y'all see me look up, I'm looking at a calendar. So I don't know, maybe the 12th, maybe this Friday I'll have a master class, or the 11th. I'll send it out. I'll make sure y'all find out if I have a master class or not. Y'all follow me on Instagram, Your Agent Ashley on Instagram. You don't have to wait 5 years. The foreclosure wave, Penny, is going to take 5 years. You can get something before then. You know what I mean? When they start trickling on down, you know what I mean? You don't have to wait 5 years. So make sure you follow on Instagram, your agent Ashley on Instagram if you're on there. I always share like master classes. I have an email list. It's 10,000 people on my email list. Y'all should, I think y'all are on it. Most y'all, if you've ever been to my master class, you should be on my email list. I have like 10,600 people on my like newsletter email list. If you are not on my email list, you should just click on, look, and then we're going to go to bed. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. Okay. I think I have a free checklist on there. I do have an Amazon store. Thank you, Brandon, with all my letters and everything. Listen to the directions. I just dropped a link in the chat if you are not on my email list. I have plenty of free stuff on there, like a checklist. Sign up for the checklist, and once you sign up for it, that'll put you on my email list. Or sign up for a masterclass, like a replay to watch a masterclass. Sign up for that. And once you put in your email, that'll put you on my email list. Does that make sense to everybody? So find something like a free checklist or a masterclass replay on when you click on that link, and that'll get you on my email list. And then y'all can make sure you get all the emails that I send out. It's like 10,000 of y'all on the email list. So, and that way you won't miss anything. Okay, you guys, can we all go to sleep now? Can we all go to sleep? I started following you on Facebook because when I saw that you're in Memphis, my hometown. There it is, Cedric. And then you came on over here to the mentorship. Cedric's in there with us. Somebody asked me today, did that guy who wanted you to have a mentorship in September sign up? I was like, he been in there with us rocking. Brandon, don't start your foolishness. Brandon, don't start. Don't start your foolishness. Not tonight. It's Monday. It's a full moon. Y'all can go outside and look at the moon and, I don't know, make a wish or something. I don't know. I'm always trying to make a wish on something, right? A moon, a rainbow, a cloud, a star. So that's all I got, you guys. Until next time, y'all can't see the moon where you are. I know, Kimberly, because the sun up where you are. I know the sun is up. The moon not even out where you are yet. Okay, you guys, I will see you in the next video. Have a great week, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye, you guys. Bye.